Good afternoon, folks. It's Steve Grumbine with Real Progressives. Just on a little while ago with my friend Warren Mosler. We talked about a great many things from Bitcoin to the petrodollar. We even spoke about the debt and deficit discussion that's going on in Washington right now. We spend an awful lot of time talking about the headline left failing progressives. Now, I'm going to take a moment to talk to you about the difference between neoliberalism and progressivism. It's extremely important because people throw this word neoliberal around like it's just a volleyball, like they don't even know what it means, but they throw it around a lot. And it's a very important word. It's a word that needs to have the right framing. Someone came to our page yesterday, about 20 Bitcoiners came to our page yesterday, not understanding that we are talking about a new deal. We're not busting down Bitcoin as it were as an investment or whatever, but we're simply stating Bitcoin cannot give us a new deal. Neoliberalism doesn't want a new deal. Neoliberalism wants to push us to private solutions. Neoliberalism would like to get rid of Social Security and push us to Wall Street. Neoliberalism would like to get rid of Medicare and give us a whole host of different insurance options. Neoliberalism would like to get rid of the entire social safety nets and provide us with a UBI. That is neoliberalism. Real Progressives supports a new deal. A new deal, by its very definition, is the anti-neoliberal. However, we go a step further because we actually are macroeconomic illiterate. Right? Wrong. We know what we're talking about. So what we do is we debunk the issues that prevent us from being able to do this stuff. So when someone tells us that we're neoliberals, that our page is neoliberals, it deserves a certain amount of scorn, ridicule, and shame. So I'm going to bring up an image here real quickly from a guy who decided that he is super smart, knows everything about everything. And here it goes. This guy tried to revise his statement over and over and over again because what he was just trying to do is he was butthurt that when he came to Real Progressives that we didn't put up with his nonsense. And after he kept trolling, we eventually banned him. Now, here's what this guy had the nerve to say, just so we're on the same page. His first iteration was, Real Progressives is a neoliberal progressive group. Be warned. Then he tried to double down and re-up this thing. And it said, Real Progressives is a neoliberal progressive group. Be warned. They are anti-progressive and extremely manipulative. They will silence anyone that disagrees with their anti-progressives rhetoric. Then he comes back and says, Real Progressives is a neoliberal progressive group. Be warned. They are anti-progressive and manipulative. They will silence anyone that disagrees with their anti-progressives rhetoric. They banned me personally on their Facebook page for disagreeing with their views on Bitcoin. Their views are warped. They are promoting governmental and corporate control over the freedom Bitcoin brings to the table. Now, the freedom that Bitcoin brings to the table. Neoliberalism is privatization. It is getting rid of the public purpose. It is getting rid of the government supplied safety nets. It's getting rid of government solutions. Neoliberalism is ultimately privatization, which is what this jackwad was pushing. He is a shameful human being, and I'm not going to say his name because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter. But I'm going to play you a video so that you all understand the difference between a progressive and a neoliberal. So be prepared. I'm going to put this on the screen now. And here we go.
Their social and environmental agendas are first class, what I call stuff that is straightforward mainstream economics nonsense, fake knowledge. The bottom line is that you can't achieve those progressive ideals if at the same time you're adopting macroeconomic policy that constrain the capacity of the government to do anything much. You judge policy by how rich it makes the poorest person, not by how rich it makes the richest person. I use the term neoliberal in terms of the economic statements that are made. And I say that, say, for example, the Greens Party in Australia, I call them neoliberals on bikes. And what I mean by that is that their social and environmental agendas are first class. They believe in equity, they believe in the state regulating for climate change, they believe in providing opportunities to people in lower income groups. They believe in a whole range of what we might call identity issues, so same-sex marriage, equal opportunity for women in the workplace, and a whole range of other what I call progressive stances. But then they, in the same breath, they reiterate the stories that, oh, the government's got to run fiscal surpluses or it'll run out of money, the government's got to have lower debt, or else it might endanger the future generations, their prosperity, and all of this other stuff that is straightforward mainstream economics nonsense, fake knowledge, but they reiterated it in their public statements. And so I call them neoliberals on bikes. And the analogy extends to all of these so-called progressive parties, like, you know, listening to Hillary Clinton talk during the presidential campaign about economics was straight neoliberalism, straight belief in this false view that the so-called free market will deliver prosperity to all, that trickle-down economics. No matter what she said about anything to do with equity or, you know, climate change or any of the rest of it, which may have been progressive, the bottom line is that you can't achieve those progressive ideals if at the same time you're adopting macroeconomic policy that constrain the capacity of the government to do anything much. And so what's progressive is a difficult thing to nail down explicitly, but it's about a concern for equity. I mean, my view is that you judge policy by how rich it makes the poorest person, not by how rich it makes the richest person. And so, you know, progressive policies include a responsibility for creating jobs for all, wage fairness, policies that are open to providing opportunities to the poorest persons in society. That's what I think a progressive person espouses and believes that the state has a unique capacity to make those things happen. The market will never make those things happen. It's not an adequate vehicle for doing any of that.
So you got Bill Mitchell explaining it right there. Now, what I want to do is show you the next thing, which is ridiculous. And this right here is the ultimate in who we're fighting against. This right here, my friends, is who we are fighting. So let's take a look at the Pete Peterson Foundation. Pete Peterson Foundation is the Fix the Debt folks. So if you look at this stuff, right, these jokers, they are absolutely right on the front page. It says responsible tax reform. If lawmakers can't find a way to pay for tax cuts, future generations will be stuck with the bill. Tax reform should grow the economy, not the debt. Now, you'd have to be completely and utterly ignorant to not get this, but this is what they do.
Tax reform.
So let's put these idiots on here.
Tax cuts. Trillions of dollars going back to American taxpayers. Who could possibly be against that? Well, if these tax cuts aren't paid for, guess where the money will come from? From him. And her. And her. Congress, tax reform should grow the economy, not the debt.
Worthless. So, folks, this is what we're up against. Now, you can go out there and do your own search to find out, but the Pete Peterson Foundation, along with the Koch brothers and everyone else, gets huge amounts of donations. Folks like us are sitting here on a shoestring budget trying to fight against these behemoths that are out there literally lying to you. Do you know, lying to you, okay? First things first, how do you create dollars? With keystrokes. Our government creates the shit out of thin air. When Congress writes a bill, the shit is keystroked into existence. So there is no passing it on to your children. Our national debt is the net money supply because it's just taking money out of circulation for a period of time. They buy treasuries with their own US dollars. This is neoliberalism. Why do people say the word neoliberal when they don't know what a neoliberal is? When we were progressives fighting against Hillary, Hillary was busy coming up with Wall Street answers to Main Street problems. That is a neoliberal. Wall Street solutions for Main Street problems. The market will fix it. Wall Street problem solving for Main Street destitution. Neoliberalism. Cutting the public space and pushing us to private debt, private solutions, privatizing everything. Banks. That is neoliberalism. When you bypass that and you do other private things like Bitcoin. You think Bitcoin is a progressive solution that fits within the progressive space of safety nets, etc.? No, it doesn't give you Green New Deal. It doesn't give you a New Deal. It doesn't give you an FDR second Bill of Rights. It gives you an investment. You're a piker. You're a low bid piker. Great. Everybody wants to have a little bit of an investment. That's your choice. Knock yourself out. But don't you dare act like coming to real progressives with your Bitcoin shit somehow or another equals a progressive solution to a New Deal, to solving green energy, when Bitcoin itself is the most environmentally damaging thing out there. To mine one Bitcoin, you could actually power a house for 9 days. One Bitcoin, 9 days to run a house. That's your environmental answer? That is not progressive in the least. And it's not giving you free college. It's definitely not giving our country free college. It's definitely not giving us green energy. It is definitely not giving us Medicare for all. So when we talk about MMT and we talk about solving the progressive agenda, Bitcoin can't give you any of that. It's a solution for you to invest in. It is not a solution for the state to in any way, shape, or form enact an infrastructure bill. It is in no way, shape, or form there to provide food stamps for the poor. It is not there to in any way, shape, or form provide paid and family medical leave for all as a right to citizenship. Neoliberal is a private solution. Think about this. Neoliberalism is privatization. The crypto anarcho-libertarians that are pushing Bitcoin are there to bypass government, to try and evade taxes, to try and do anonymous transactions. But it is in no way, shape, or form, providing you a new deal. Do you understand the difference? This is extremely important. This jackass that put this nonsense up, he is a bona fide neoliberal. That is neoliberalism. Real progressives, however, are real progressives. So when you guys start wondering what a neoliberal is, you had it right when you pegged Hillary as a neoliberal. She was. You have it right when you call corporate Democrats neoliberals. They are. But when you sit there and you tell us that taxes pay for spending, we got to raise taxes to pay for these big programs, you are participating in a neoliberal lie as well. That's just the deal, folks. It's a neoliberal lie. So I'm Steve Grumbine with Real Progressives. Again, tonight I will be on with Nathan Tankus talking about rent control and trade. Have a good day, everybody.